Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Podcast. It's your host, David McCaig Jr. The Game Sports Podcast is powered by 91N and featured on Spaces. 91N is a YouTube channel where you can check out video editions of the Game Sports Podcast, and Spaces is through Village Media and Sue Today, where you can check out the game on the hockey and the sports space of Spaces. Wherever you're enjoying, make sure you are following along and interacting along, especially when it comes to interacting. The world of social media is a big place now. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, at the Game Sports Podcast. Give us a search, check us out, interact with the clips, whatever it may be. Make sure that you are tuning in to the Game Sports Podcast. And do not forget, January 2nd is our 10th birthday for the Game Sports Podcast. Previously, Coffee with the Coach in 2015. So we've actually been around over 10 years, but with the official name, 10-year anniversary this year. And we got a big 10th anniversary birthday present for the show, but also for you, especially for those that have been around and following the show for over a decade. We appreciate that, of course. 3 segments today. Top shelf at the beginning. As you see, Brendan's ready to start chatting. We got Connor Henderson for Strike Zone, and we got Justin Hykel for In the Pocket. You'll hear that there's no Chuck-a-Puck this week. Trudeau is getting a vacation day today. Had something come up, so we will not be talking anything major, Junior, but don't worry, we got you covered when it comes to the ice, because we're going to be chatting NHL, the national level, but we are going to be predicting something big for you today, and we'll get to that momentarily. Now, I'm going to introduce, that's the quickest introduction I've done, even though it was a minute longer than I wanted it to be. Brendan, my friend, kicking off, stick handling, shooting the puck off here on Top Shelf, whatever analogy you want to use, my friend. How's it going?
Doing great, my man. I would like to start off by saying, where in the world is Alex Parr? This guy, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, Alex Parr is one of our line mates. He has been MIA since June. I even tried calling the guy the other day.
I love it.
Didn't pick up, no call back. Where in the world is Alex Parr? Make a thumbnail, put it on the captions. We got to find this guy. I think he's so beaten down from being a Leaf fan that he refuses to watch and talk about it. Which, frankly, Parr, I'll just say it, that's BS. We need you. We need your perspective. We need your take. Get back on here. Answer my call. Talk to Dave McCaig, your guy. We bring it. You got to bring it. We love you. Come on back.
Oh, I love it. And I texted him twice, 3 times now, actually, including our chat. No response.
He's ghosting us.
100% pure ghost, and it's unfortunate because that's a original family member of the show right there. And I know, given we don't just talk Leafs, we talk all hockey, but the thing is, the perspective, all 3 of us, you need that line mates together right now, and we don't have that.
We're shorthanded.
We're on the PK right now.
We're on the PK. You know what? You just mentioned about the anniversary for the Game Sports Podcast, which is awesome. I only joined a year ago, I guess. So it's been around for, 10 years? I think maybe to get Parr back, you should give him some swag or something. Entice him back for 2026, McCaig.
I love that you mentioned swag, because we will have swag in the new year. It's official. I
get one?
Oh, you get one for free, too. Isn't that awesome?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
A little sweater toque action. How's that sound to you? A little toque.
100% down for that. I think it'll make my January more bearable.
Do you want to do team building exercise and make mitts together? I'm just kidding.
No, not particularly. That will definitely not entice Parr to come back on the podcast.
You never know. Okay, you put a little bit of WWE wrestling belt or logo on there, the guy might show up for a little bit of wrestling stuff. And that's another thing. I miss chatting wrestling with Parr, but we're talking hockey right now. I won't get too off point. Look, we'll get back to it. Parr, get your ass back here. How's that? I'll just get to the point.
Put it on the thumbnail, McCaig.
Get your fill in the blanks back here. Now, NHL news, just going to go around the horn on a few points, notables. So we got Tyler Seguin likely out the rest of the year with an ACL injury. Big news out of Dallas. That's a loss for the forward piece there in Dallas. Now, look, I'm a fan of something. I got to give a shout out to the Minnesota Wild. They are a wagon weight now. Jesper Wallstedt, Philip Gustafsson shutting out the Oilers the other night, a team that traded away that pick, and the Minnesota Wild pick him up on that pick, and he shuts them out. Can't write that stuff. It is absolutely great. if I am Minnesota, I'm licking my fingers about these prospects you got going on. Even though you paid Kaprizov the bag way too much, Bill Guerin, I got to say right now your goaltending is looking pretty good. Maybe a little trade bait there, just saying. But you know what? The National Hockey League nowadays are going with 2 good goalies. That's common theme now. It's not the way it used to be with Martin Brodeur playing 70 games and you got Corey Schwab playing 12. It doesn't go that way anymore. So that's the second piece of news. The third piece of news that I want to mention, look, Jordan Binnington. There was a little bit of an exchange at the bench with his coach. Jordan Binnington's a very animated guy, okay? The guy is not shy of getting in the tussle. He's not shy to chirp. He's not shy to tell you how he feels, and that's the Canadian goalie right there. A little spoiler prediction for you. Kind of just gave it away who I think will be the goalie, but I think it's the least surprise out of everything. But those are the 3 just news reports I want to go around with the National Hockey League, Brendan, that I wanted to just point out to the viewers and listeners. Just a little side news. We are recording Wednesday on December the 3rd, a little bit off schedule for us, but any news that you want to bring up that's a hot topic for you, my friend, before we transition to the other content we have planned?
Well, not so much a hot take or anything, just more of the NHL standings landscape. Like you look at it right now, and the only other word I can describe it as is drunk. That's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. It's just drunk. Like you can call it chaotic and, many different words, but there's one Canadian team that's in the playoffs right now, and it's the Ottawa Senators currently, right? And in a couple months, it's going to do a complete 80, right?
Yep.
And I think really the only team that should scare the league is the Colorado Avalanche. You look up and down the Eastern Conference, it's a toss-up. There's no one team that is playing lights out. Colorado has 1 regulation loss, which is incredible, right?
Wagon.
It's unbelievable. And lucky for Canada, a lot of those guys are Canadian, McKinnon,
just an
McCarr,
FYI.
just an FYI. Yeah. They'll be going to Italy in a few months, tearing it up for Team Canada. But yeah, it's drunk, the standings right now. I think Dallas and Colorado, they're legit. I mean, Tampa's always in the running, but I don't think they're good as they once were. And no one in the Metro really scares me as well. If you look at the Leafs right now, I mean, it has been so back and forth in terms of, I love hearing Leaf fans. Like one day they're ecstatic, the other day they're trying to mail it in and find a different sport or team, right? And McKenna, right. But it's interesting because, they go on this road trip. They desperately need it. Everyone, I heard all the stats, but why do they want to go on the road? They're 1-6. I'm like, they're human. They need to get away from the city. They need a way to get away from the journalists. A bunch of things, right? And look I don't think they've played up until the Florida game. I don't think they actually played that well. They scraped out a win against Columbus in overtime, right? Yep. They laid an egg against the Capitals, right? They blew a 2-0 lead, and they put up a touchdown against the Penguins. But I also think Hildeby made some really big saves. Pitt was in it early on, and then it was kind of just the floodgates open. So it's like, okay, like it almost looks better than it actually has been. And then the game yesterday against Florida, no, it's not going to make amends for the game 5 and 7 losses in the second round last year. But you take advantage of a decimated, injury-riddled Florida Panthers hockey team. And the Leafs, I watched it start to finish, and it's amazing what can happen when you skate your bag off, you play a full 60, and you're hard to play against. It's something that Berube has been stressing all along. And the problem is the Leafs show you a glimpse of that's it, where fans are saying that's the Leafs, right? That's the Berube effect. The problem is it's almost like looking at a Wendy's Baconator, right? Advertised, and then you get it, and it's like, I don't think it's actually that good. So that was like the advertised Leafs, right? And then, you start eating it, and it's like, oh, they only gave us 2 strips of uncooked bacon and a, otherwise cheap, gross burger. But as advertised, it looks good, right? They need to be, where am I going with this Baconator analogy? They need to be, I already got your mouth watering. Yeah, I already got your mouth watering. They need to be good on every bite, right? Every bite, right? They gotta have some, they gotta have some bite to their game. And not every game is going to be perfect, but you look at teams like Florida. Yes, like eventually they're going to lose some air because they've gone to 3 straight cup finals, but you know what you're getting from them every night, even if it's an L, right? You know what you're getting. right? But the Leafs just need to find that level where it's not a significant drop off. They gotta be just steady, more consistent, right? Like it's not going to be great for 82 games, but that type of play is, I thought that was an A+ effort last night, their best game of the season, and full credit. And if you're Berube, it's a big sigh of relief. But now it's like you got Carolina tomorrow, right? And then you got the Habs at home to maybe get some revenge against the game in Montreal a few weeks ago. So
and move up back in the standing to get back into a little bit of breathing room to get back into the picture and not try not to look.
I think Sorry, you go ahead, Dave.
I looked at the, and this might be a mean take because the guy got 2 points yesterday, Stetcher. But you look at their Robs, but you look at Stetcher, Mermis, and Myers playing. I read a comment that said you got 3 defensemen that would clear waivers. Thought that was funny at the time. Thought that was pretty. I get it. I understand, fans. I understand. There's Leaf fans are funny. That's all I'll say. That's the word. They're tricky. As one, it's tricky. But you know what? Those are type of guys that you got to insert in the lineup. Injuries happen. Tana's out. Carlo's out. You've battled injury all year too, just like Florida with Verhaeghe, Tkachuk, Barkov. Barkov might not be back all year. It seems like. Watch game 1, he'll be out if they make it. I almost can't believe I'm saying if they make it. There's no way that they don't make it, right? But nonetheless, on my point, you battle injuries throughout the year, and good teams find ways to win, Brendan. That's the point. Doesn't matter, injuries or not, players not. If you are truly a good hockey team, unless you're missing your entire 4 lines and your entire 3 defensemen core, like you basically got your AHL team up, and you're playing with your AHL team for 3 months. Other than that, if you're a good hockey team, you find ways to win. And I love the way you called it drunk, the standings, because it's crazy right now. None of this would have been predicted, but you got to think the sales are going to get blown. Something's going to change. The wind's going to change here a little bit as the season goes on and as the Christmas holidays come up and that break happens going into the new year.
Yeah, like the Panthers at the bottom of the East, everyone's like, maybe they're taking. Yeah, of course they're taking not even a step back. It's a blip because they've been to 3 straight cup finals and have won back-to-back chips. Florida will be in the playoffs. Like Florida will be back. Like you said, Barkov, it's going to be a bit. They're going to not rush Tkachuk, but they'll be just fine. And if you're the Leafs, it's like, this is good. But if this isn't a launching point, Dave, then I'm out of options, man, because you just beat the defending cup champs in their own barn, which, by the way, there was like nobody there last night. Which
Florida fans, you fake. You fake.
Dude, you fake. But even at work today, I was saying to the guys, I'm like, isn't there like retired like Toronto Snowbirds down there in December? Like it was empty, Dave. Like, but still intimidating to play in that barn, just given what Florida brings, especially on home ice. But yeah, I mean, you got to think that's a launching point. And I thought it was, like I said, their most complete game. But it's how you follow it up. It's how to find that steady part to your game, that consistency. And I think the Leafs, what they really have to learn is to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I've said that before. So many teams, when you get into a groove and you're in the playoffs and you're going to the next round, it gets uncomfortable. So embrace that, because the Leafs have always just played comfortably and they let the game come to them. And then they're like, oh, okay, this is how the game's going to be today. Now we'll lock in, or now we'll try to do a late game comeback. Sometimes it works, like we saw against Pitt in October, and sometimes you're as a player probably wanting to leave the city because it's just that bad, the backlash you're getting.
Yeah, and that's honestly, when you look at this team, I talked about it last week, and the term that I use, sell or buy early, was the way that I called it. And I know there was a lot of interaction on YouTube. Great, thanks everyone, that was good. We didn't get it up on TikTok for that at this point, but wherever way that you saw it, I talked about the Leafs buying or selling early. It's, you got to make that decision if you feel like you got to make a run for it. And I think this team you cannot not make the playoffs with this team when they're healthy. That's the vision. But you have someone like Calgary. You got the Nashville Predators, these teams that are, that I don't see this playoff selling early. And I mention that because I think the Leafs, despite when healthy and showing the glimpse of that brilliance, there's still pieces that they need to add. And I say they need a top 6 forward. The Michelli project is not working, in my opinion. Obviously, a guy can't even make the lineup. So they had a top 6 forward, if not a top 2 forward on the team, but that's gone. But top 4 defensemen, top 6 forward, then I think that's where you can beat a team or become close in a series against a healthy Florida Panthers team. But also Carolina Hurricanes looking pretty scary. But when I look over to a team that makes a Stanley Cup final from the West, there's a lot of teams. Colorado's looking really good. Dallas are looking great. You can never count out Vegas, of course. Vegas is Vegas, especially when they have their team. So if this is a team, this is where you got to decide. You're at the road. Okay, we started off with struggles. It's still early. You can rebound from it and get to a better point. But what do we need to do now so we don't get far behind? So these games where you're starting to make up some wins or get back up in the standings gives that belief back, and no pun intended on saying that. It gets that back. But I still think, I'm a firm believer that the Leafs, if they're going to decide to continue to go for it this year, to not mortgage future, but make moves earlier, before the Olympics, or even before the new year kicks in, so you can get this team together, molded, chemistry, and ready in preparation for the playoffs. So maybe that's another topic for next week because of time, just overall. But I think this is a team that needs to decide that sell or buy this year if they're going to move contracts out or still make a run for it. And I think that's a silly thing for me to say, because I think this is a team that is built to play playoffs. That's their expectation, is what I mean by that. Obviously, that hasn't had playoff success, but I think the goal is playoff hockey. If not, of course, cup, right? That is the goal in Toronto. And if they're not even, especially in the playoffs, let alone a cup, that would be a failure considered this year. So given where you're at, you got to make a decision. And that's the only thing I'll say about the Leafs. I've had a hard start to the year. I've had the Blue Jays hangover still. It still hurts the way that they lost. But so damn proud of that team, the Blue Jays, because of how hard they worked. And that's what I want to see from Toronto, is the games that they played last night in Florida, this game in Pittsburgh, the team that you're willing to put the body on the line for and win a hockey game. So, Brendan, just because of time, I want to transition to our projection for the Canadian Olympic team, baby. This is a conversation, okay? So for the next couple weeks, we're going to do projections for particular teams. We're going to do Canada. We're going to do Sweden. We're going to do Finland. We're going to do the United States. We're going to cram as many teams as we can, but we're going to do for sure the teams from the 4 nations all together on. And if we can expand from that, we will, given time, even if we have to put it all into one episode and one segment later for your interaction. But of course, we're starting with Canada. This is where we're located. They won the 4 nations, just to remind you. And also, I think, and this is no bias, I think Canada has the most interesting, intriguing opportunities on how to build this team more than any other team. Okay, that's why I really want to put them first as well. So, Brendan, if you're all set, I want to give you the floor to go through your forwards, go through your D, and your goalies. Who is Team Canada going to be in Italy this year? What team are we going to see on that ice?
Okay, I have the better question I think we should address, because we know the locks on Team Canada. Okay?
Yes.
Instead of rhyming off all these players that we know are going, let's address the big debate right now. Short answer, is Connor Bedard going to make the roster?
Yes. I'll list my roster. I'm going to, just for purposes of just interaction, I'll say my roster, but Connor Bedard makes the team. Yes.
Okay. I don't think he does. I think if you're going to take one kid, it's Max Celebrini. I think Connor Bedard will be there eventually, but you look at the guys at the helm that are running the show, like Doug Armstrong, right? He wants to keep the old boys there, old boys, if you will. He wants, obviously, his elite offense and elite scorers up front, but Connor Bedard, I don't know if there's room for him, because you look in the bottom 6, Armstrong wants the rugged guys that can go through the mud, go through the slime, like Scheifele, Marchand, and Wilson, maybe Hagel, even Bennett, because you know what Bennett brings. He was a Conn Smythe winner. Bedard, yes, he's 3rd in league scoring right now. I don't know if he really fits the mold for me. And I could be crazy for saying that, but I don't see him.
I'll say it crazy. I think he deserves to be there.
I don't see him there yet, man. We're okay. Here's a question. Who are you taking out?
Who am I? You know what? Honestly, that's a very good question.
That's the thing, right?
You know, I'm trying to look, because I have my roster kind of just written out given how it is. So that's where, you know what? I'll say it. Okay, then we'll just wrap up from there. So roster, forwards, D, and goalie. Dave McCaig's predictions for the Canadian Olympic team. Forwards, and I'm going to go by lines. I made lines. So when I give you lines, the names, these are lines together. Sam Reinhart, McDavid, Marner. Crosby, McKinnon, Bedard. Celebrini, Point, Scheifele. Marchand, Bennett, Hagel. with Cirelli and Jarvis as your 2 spares. On defense, I got Makar, Taves, Theodore Morrissey, Parenko, Harley. Harley's a stud.
Harley
With Doughty
sure.
as the extra.
Doughty as the extra.
And then in net, Binnington's your guy. Thompson's the backup, finally getting it. And Aiden Hill's your third guy. Sam Montembeault is out. This is Italian in Italy. I'm saying it's Italian ice. Nope, that's the wrong term. This is in Italy, European Olympic ice. The last time the Canada guys went to Italy and they brought the big boys and the guys that won it before, it didn't work. The ice is bigger. You need speed. Bedard, Celebrini. I like Jarvis out there for speed. He might get some time in that lineup and haggle out Jarvis in for some games, right? Scheifele even out Jarvis in because of that body, but speed on that ice is going to be very critical. That open ice is what's going to help really Bedard and Celebrini, and it's hard to take these guys off the list because of that speed and because of what they've done this year. So I think it'd be a real snub to not have those guys on the team because of the factor of the ice, what they've done this year, and let's go. Let's bring a team to that tournament that's going to be very hard not only to play against because you got guys on there that are hard to play against, but you can't catch up to them either because the U.S. guys, some feisty guys, but some slower guys too. Matthews isn't all about speed. Kachucks aren't about speed, and you might not even have Matthew if he's not healthy. And Hughes, he's got speed. There's some guys, and he's dating Tate McRae, so he's obviously got some wheels. Is that pun intended? Look, that's a good one. Okay,
you're missing some key
cool
pieces.
Stuff, yeah.
Scheifele, you're missing Nick Suzuki, you're missing Tom Wilson.
You think Wilson makes that team?
I do, man. People got to figure out this quickly that players are going to have their feelings hurt. In 2006 in Torino, Crosby I can't remember, was he left off the team or Pat Quinn benched him? Either way, he didn't play, right? Crosby did not see the ice at all. Martin St. Louis was left off a roster one year and everyone was like, oh my God, what? Like, this happens. So if it's not Bedard's time, it's not Bedard's time. He will be on the next one. I think at this point, just ask yourself that question. Who comes out and is it worth taking them out? Because they have so many elite scorers that you can have fun with the bottom 6 and have more of the gritty guys, right? Because international play, Dave, the competition elevates. There's a lot more pushback. People are, they're playing for their country, right? So it's like, I think Canada management is kind of saying, we don't need another sniper. We don't need another guy with a strong skill set. We want a guy we know is going to bring whatever, the locker room vet presence, the push back in the crease to defend Binner and Thompson. Right? I would actually rather a Marchand, Wilson, or Hagel than a Bedard. Maybe I'm crazy. But again, everyone wants Bedard because of what he's doing in the NHL right now with the Blackhawks. But you put him on a loaded Canada team, I think he gets fizzled out.
The guys that were taken out, just to note, Travis Konechny, Mark Stone, Travis Sanheim, and Samuel Montembeault were the 4 guys that I took off the 4-nation team in substitution for the other fellas that I added on there.
Sam Bennett has done jack squat this year. He's also been to the last 3 Cup finals. He was a Conn Smythe winner. Legs are tired, but you throw the Canada jersey on that cat, and he becomes Sam Bennett the Menace again.
Love that take. So you don't want to name your roster? You're going to leave it just to me? That's it? That's what you're going to leave it at?
I will say I'd want Marner with McDavid. I don't think you had Marner with McDavid, would you?
Yeah, I had Marner, Reinhart, McDavid. Yeah.
Oh, you had Marner with McDavid. Okay.
Yeah, that he played good when he was in over. Everything worked out in that final game against the States.
I'm just kind of I'm like the teacher putting the red pen on your roster because there's a couple guys I'm like, I don't think Cirelli should be even a thought for that team. He's not even as an extra. Seth Jarvis, nah.
Could have been a Leaf. Just saying. Could have been a Leaf.
Seth Jarvis?
Yeah, Patrick Marleau's trade
that's
for
right.
the first round pick to Carolina, they drafted Seth Jarvis. Yeah. I love it in Toronto.
I like to kind of do the Jenga, okay, maybe a little plug and play thing here, right? I don't mind your players. Obviously the lines will shuffle, but I'm trying to think more of guys that could be in or the hot topics. Should Bedard even be considered? I have heard through some insider information, that's all I'll say, is that Mac is going and Connor will be left out.
Jeez. Oh, that's a hot take. Everyone below, comment. The clip makers on the The interns are going to have a great time making a clip on this one for how they want to put it together. Comment below. Let us know what you think. The makeup of the roster for Canada. Who's on, who's out. Brendan's right. Dave's right. We're both right. We're both wrong. Well, I guess we both can't be right, but maybe that's what you think. You just let us know what you think below. That is Canada Olympic team 2026 in Italy. We will have the World Junior team picked next week, to just kind of correct myself there. Brennan, we went a little bit extra. Connor's waiting in the wings, Sorry, the wins, Connor. Whatever way you want to put it. So we got passionate about our hockey there. Brennan, my friend, I want to say thank you very much. Next week, hopefully MIA Parr is back on the roster and our line mate for...
You know what he is? He's Dennis Rodman. He just goes to Vegas and we need to go get him.
Oh, I hope I can't wait the feedback for this episode.
We have to go get him. Let's hop on a bird, Dave.
Yeah, let's go get him. We got to save him off the slot machines. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Is there? All right, Brennan. Thanks, my friends. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers. All right, everyone. We are going to be getting into Strike Zone now. I cut into Strike Zone time. There he is. The return from Italy, the married man, the absolute stud, the rookie. Look, can I tell you something? I lost my wedding ring, my very bougie wedding. I know. So don't. People say you lose your rings, whatever you need to. I'm very good with things. Don't lose it, Connor. Do whatever you need to do to not lose that ring that's on your finger. I'm wearing my $30 Amazon tungsten ring, okay? And the ring that I bought, I went very bougie because I thought I would only have to buy one ring, okay? And I got to buy a second. And the reason I got to buy a second is for the reason of losing one, probably. So unless it comes up somewhere out of my rear end, I've looked so hard for it. I've lost it for over a week, so I think it's gone. But let's not go there. We're talking strikes. So my friend, how are you? Congratulations. Welcome to the club of the married club officially. I'm very sorry that I missed it. I know I forgot something, but I didn't forget something. I won't say it on air, but nonetheless, very happy to know that you're back. How's the wedding? How was your trip to Italy?
Thanks, man. It means a lot. It went so good. A few hiccups at the wedding, but like everything else for the most part went really smooth. Partied it up, danced a lot.
Oh yeah, you did.
Oh man, it was so much fun. Definitely missed having you, but you were with us in spirit.
So
Italy was fantastic. It was my first time in Europe, and we did Venice, Florence, Rome, and God.
You went to Florence, man. One of my favorite spots, Sorrento and Florence. Florence is so good. Did you go to the Tuscany tour? Did you go on a wine tour?
We did not go to Tuscany, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I did grow to have a massive crush on the Medici family, or the Medici family, the rich Renaissance. For those who aren't familiar, they funded a lot of the beautiful artwork in the Renaissance era. It's sort of like a dynasty family. And there's this really cheesy show on Amazon Prime called Medici, Masters of Florence. And it's basically like bargain bin Game of Thrones. So we had a lot of fun seeing some of the remnants of that on our trip.
That's great. You know, man, I'm very sad that I missed it. You've had moments in life where you want to be a part of that, and that's something I wanted to be really a part of. And obviously having I still call him a newborn at 6 months old now, though. But obviously, sitter time, doing things are a little bit more challenging. So I am very sorry, as you know. But now I know we're talking baseball, so we can transition to that. I'm very happy. It was a great time. I heard everything was fun. Your trip, I'm happy to hear your trip was great. Italy, I obsess about it every day still, even though it happened a couple years ago. Can't wait to go back. But nonetheless, baseball news, man. You and I, last time we talked, I didn't get a chance to. You didn't get to hear the Blue Jays hangover that I had. I still have the hangover. Game 7, 2 outs away. I still have a very hard time thinking about it, but I am so damn proud of that team. I've never said that about a Toronto team. How can you not love that team and what they did for the season and playoffs? I'm not mad they lost. Sad. There's a difference because it's not like they mailed it in. I would have rather they lost 10-1 in that game instead of 2 outs away almost. But how can you not love that team and love baseball? And all the BS that happened, ball under the wall, IKF at home, all this Toronto sports curse that keeps just living on. But you know what? Let me tell you something. The Jays are going back there, Connor. I'm telling you that right now. And the way this offseason's looking, I'm looking very, very happy as an offseason so far for the Toronto Blue Jays. They're still missing a couple things, and one rhymes with go. He's the shortstop for the Blue Jays, waiting for that news to come out eventually. But look, All right. We may not have a lot of time to dive into every team. You're a Tiger fan. I'm a Jays fan. We have a lot of Tigers and Jays listeners on our team, but we talk all teams. Connor, I kind of want to give you the floor about where you want to go with any news that you have, and then I'll talk about some of the recent signings before we let you go. A little bit of a shorter segment as Hykel will be coming on soon for In the Pocket. I'll leave it to you, my friend.
Sure. I think just briefly, the Jays, that's a team to be proud of this year. When the night before my wedding in the hotel that a lot of my guests stayed in, we had a party room set up with a big projector, and about 50 of us were in there just watching on October 24th the Jays win with, I believe it was the Grand Slam game where they won game 2 against the Dodgers, I believe it was. And
what a game.
Oh my God, everybody was so fired up, and that energy to go back there next year and to bring it home, that would be phenomenal. And they've bolstered that starting rotation this offseason by adding a couple solid arms, one of which is one of the most durable pitchers in baseball, Dylan Cease. How do I pronounce it?
I like Dylan Cease. I thought it was always been Ceci. I've heard different outlets say Ceci. I'm going to go with Cease. Sounds easier. Ceci just kind of, I don't know. I'll go with Cease.
I'm not going to force the so he's a guy who will eat innings for you and add that depth and stretch out the rotation. And then they also added Cody Ponce, who was lighting it up overseas in both Japan for 3 years and then Korea last year, and won the MVP of the Korean Baseball League. He was a former minor league / kind of flamed out starting pitcher, and now he's coming back with hopefully a vengeance. They signed him to a 3-year deal, which at I believe age 30 or 31,
Hoffman.
It's a commitment, man. It's a commitment for sure. It's cool to see them putting the chips into the middle and saying, hey, like we had a good season last year, a great season last year. Let's push it even further.
Honestly, look, you're a Tigers guy, so I'll give you a wide open point here as our baseball expert. Tarek Skubal, go off if you want to. Number 2, Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette. What are the odds of the Jays getting both of those guys if that happens? Bringing back Bo and signing Kyle Tucker. Okay, am I wishful thinking now? Am I really wishful thinking? Am I just being too excited? Yeah. But anyway, Tarek Skubal, you can start there first. There's been some trade talk, Connor. And look, can I tell you something? If someone's not going to sign with your team, I am a massive fan of asset management. Massive fan. You can't lose something for nothing. But the Tigers are also not a rebuilding team anymore. This is a team that is trying to do what the Blue Jays just did. But Skubal, Tucker, and Bichette. That's what I was going to.
Well, I think Bo would come back. One of the luxuries of being a successful team is that people want to play for you. And they were a successful team last year, and Bo's a legacy player for them. I think he'll want to stick around.
I agree.
I don't have much comments on Kyle Tucker other than he's a great player, a great hitter. Any team would be lucky to have him. And Tarek Skubal, oh boy, I think last offseason we had a similar conversation. The question becomes, how good are the Tigers come trade deadline? That'll be the answer to whether or not he stays or goes. Okay. It's like that song from The Clash, should I stay or should I go now? The record will determine that question for us.
So do you think, just from the baseball end, that the value is bigger now, or would it be more at the deadline though? I don't mean to reference, hockey in this. I really don't. But a recent clip that I had was sell early or buy early. I talked about a couple teams in the National Hockey League, and I referenced 3 different teams, Calgary, Nashville, and Toronto, because of being a different expectations. Tigers' expectations are actually kind of where the Maple Leafs would be, trying to playoff team, trying to win, should make the playoffs, should be a team that should be in the favorite conversation. A key word under there is should. All right. So do you sell early on high asset because the value is higher? Or do you think waiting till the deadline is truly the better call because you need to see where you're at that point in the season?
You can't trade him this offseason. It would basically be waving the white flag to the fan base. I don't think that there's a way that anybody would get behind moving him now. You'd have to suck to justify the trade. And the only way you'll know you'll suck or be mediocre will be if you're limping towards the playoffs or maybe not going to make it. I love the asset management idea. it makes no sense here to sell him before the season starts.
So a couple random two other points for you is that I feel that the Orioles really didn't succeed this year, and I've always talked to them about being a team that could be in the Mike Trout conversation, right? I've always said that about him. So in terms of some players, I'm gonna pass off a couple pieces. So obviously Mike Trout, one player that do you think, will he stay in LA or will he be traded? Paul Skeens. I know the answer has been Skeens, Pittsburgh's not trading him, not letting him go. That's what they've said. I don't believe everything I read. Okay, Pittsburgh, I feel like, and when I hear Paul Skeens getting traded, it just screams Yankees to me, which is so unfortunate. But Trout, Skeens, staying or going?
Okay, so with Trout, they can't trade him, and with Skeens, they can't trade him. That's how I would frame it. One, obviously, Mike Trout did not have the best year last year, and with that contract, it would be difficult to move. And two, with Skeens, obviously he's got a great valued contract because he's still on a rookie deal. But oh my God, I mean, Pittsburgh might as well fold the franchise if they let him walk.
That's a good point. Now, the last thing, I have a free agent list here that I was planning on rhyming off and predictions where to go. So I'll do two players, okay, and you can tell me where you think they're going. And I was going to save a scandal conversation, but we've talked about it before already with Clase, and it seems like he's never going to be pitching again. But I am going to bring up somebody who I think should still get a chance in the MLB, so I'm going to leave it to you. So I'm going to name two players. You predict where you think they're going to go. And then I'm going to give you the third player, someone who's been banned from playing in major leagues. You might be picking up what I'm putting down, if you think he'll ever return to the majors. Okay, I'm putting you on the spot today. Love it.
This is hard. I'm so bad at these, but let's do it.
Edwin Diaz. Closer Edwin Diaz.
Oh my goodness. Any team would be lucky to have Edwin Diaz.
Where's he going? Staying, going, Toronto, New York? Staying with the Mets?
Staying with the Mets, Dave.
Staying with the Mets, I figured. Now let me give you the hot topic that I just mentioned. Kyle Tucker. Where does he go?
I think he's going to go where I'm not sure. I'd have to check everybody's books first. But Kyle Tucker's a guy who I remember when he was drafted, I was really big into following MLB prospects at that point. He was a former first round pick. And he's one of those guys who immediately showed impact, and for good reason. He can completely just mash the ball, had success in Houston with that rise with Carlos Correa and Bregman when those guys were all coming up. What's that, sorry? And Springer, your best friend, who you, I believe, once challenged to a sprint down first base. On one of our older shows, I think you said you could beat him there.
I think I did say that.
He just signed, and then he blew out his leg or something.
Then not anymore. Let me get this up.
I think Clase should consider signing with the TGEM Pandas.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. We need a closer. It's not me. I'm not your answer. Okay, the Pandas need a closer. Kyle Tucker will be a Blue Jay, saying it. Bichette Tucker, open the books, Rogers, let's go. Keep opening up the books, baby. Love it. Okay, the player I want to say before I let you go, Trevor Bauer.
Oh, no,
Trevor Bauer.
He's washed. He's so washed. I'm sorry.
Love that. I just love his social media. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen his social media. He's so good on social media. Like, I think it's hilarious what he does.
There's all these.
He's got to be a guest on the show sometime.
There's all these videos of him like giving pitching tips. And one thing I love is that he says everything with like 100% confidence, even if it's not quite like you're like, is this true? But he says it with such conviction, and his chest. He's a guy who, you could write a book on the story that happened there. Probably should have been pitching in the MLB a couple of years ago. Probably should not be pitching in the MLB right now.
Guys throwing balls in the stands from the mound. Remember that?
He's not. He's pretty nuts.
He fits the mold perfectly for the Yankees. I think that would be great. Just kidding. Oh my goodness. Connor, my friend, thank you. It's been a good time catching up. I love it. I think we're going to have a very busy offseason here, Connor. Okay, especially when it comes to the Jays and Tigers. So there might be some more offseason appearances by yours truly, and that being yours truly, for some strike zone chat. So you know what? I love it, because usually when the World Series now, I'm like, okay, because the Blue Jays, Tigers, even the offseason is really quiet a lot. A lot of these bigger names are going earlier, which we don't see a lot in baseball. So that mold is changing. So we might be seeing your beautiful self a lot more this little off season, which is so exciting. Love it.
I'm excited. Have a good few weeks until I see you next time. Hike, Good to see you again, buddy. And hope you guys have a good show and a good rest of the night.
You too, man. And congratulations again. Welcome to the club.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a good night, Connor. Perfect. All right. So that's been strikes. And I put him right on the spot, Hike. You know what? It's not as bad as when Butch Davis put you on the spot with the Cleveland Cavaliers general manager. But I don't even remember who the general manager was at that time, to be honest with you.
I don't either now.
26. What was that?
That was a while back. So
2017, 2018.
I didn't know that.
2018 Cleveland. The 2018, who was the GM? I'm going to look right now. Like, I wouldn't have guessed this if you get Kobe Altman.
Yeah. What chance did I have?
That's on, and guess what? Live radio, Hike. Live radio.
Yeah. I know.
We love it. We had some
I weathered the storm, though.
We had some times.
That one would be a good one for the archives, that's for sure.
Got to find that. That's on Podbean somewhere. Now, Hike, look, we're going to get into In the Pocket. And In the Pocket, to remind everyone, we are partnered with Sports Center Bar and Grill, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario's best sports bar, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario's best sports bar multiple years in a row, but also best wings in town. Look, Frank and the family there at Sports Center holds a close heart and a close place in our heart. And I've been telling you live since 2015, if you count Coffee with the Coach. And again, if you know, with Coffee with the Coach, that is a real archive for you. If you can tell me what coffee, you know what? Look, I'm going to say this. If you're listening up to this point, and, I know people listen to podcasts in different segments now, but if you went up to this point for the full 40-some-ish minutes and you know what Coffee with the Coach is, and you're not on Podbean, can't be on Podbean. Don't say it on Podbean, because I know there's a lot of vintage listeners. I don't mean age. I mean classic people that have been around since we were starting off. If you know what we are from TikTok, if you got here from TikTok, sorry, you're listening on Spotify, you're listening on Amazon, YouTube, or viewing on YouTube. If you know what Coffee with the Coach is, comment below. I really want to see if you know who hosted Coffee with the Coach and what it was. That would be really cool to see that in the comments. So you know what? That would be really cool. I'm banking on people who have no idea what Coffee with the Coach is outside of Podbean. Okay, and that's just a known fact. We didn't start going to YouTube till a lot later. So that's a little setup for failure, but a little quiz. So 10-year anniversary, Hike. January 2nd will be our 10-year anniversary, and we have a birthday present for viewers and listeners then, because of a lot of updates coming with the show on our 10th birthday. But one thing that has been there from the start is Sports Center Bar and Grill and In the Pocket. That's always been there. Yes, In the Pocket's 1 year behind that 10 years, but since we started doing stuff in the Soo and at Sports Center for 9 years, we've been doing this segment, our longest running segment. Like, oh my goodness. One cup, one phone. Okay? That's all I'll say as well. Okay? If you know again, you know. Hike, let's talk football, my friends. Last week, very interesting week in the world of football. The Steelers had a little world of hope for a couple quarters. And then you got Mike Tomlin getting booed off the field and saying fire Tomlin, which I think is idiocy. Just so everyone knows that as a Steeler fan, that is so dumb for somebody who's been around for 20 years and been nothing but loyal and with this process in Pittsburgh. Not his fault that they're where they're at, okay, in the standings this year. You lost to the Bills, who have been almost arguably a Super Bowl favorite for me for the last couple of years. You're playing 500 football, a little bit struggles, but booing Tomlin off the field, that's my sign to you. I don't agree with that. But that's my only feedback for the week. And the Vikings really sucked this week. They forgot they were playing football, and they were playing hockey. They couldn't score a goal, if you will. They couldn't hit a home run, if you will. If you couldn't hit a basket, if you're talking basketball, and they couldn't even hit a field goal if you're talking, or get a safety. They couldn't get a touchdown. They decided to not show up and play any offense against the Seahawks, losing 26-0. So you know what? There was a lot of snoozers last week, Hike, is my point to that. So if you look at week 13, Steelers got 7 points. You got the Vikings that got 0. The Titans got 3. The Browns got 8. I know your Colts didn't play the greatest against the Texans, but at least they got 16 points. So there was...
Let's not, the refs. Let's talk about, if we're going to say something, it's...
I said a lot of snooze fest this week, Hike. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't in love with this week, but you go to the refs. I'll give you the floor on that. So we're going within the pocket. We're reacting to last week first before we do our usual upcoming week. So talk about the refs, Hike.
Yeah, I don't know. At least in the Colts game in particularly, the refereeing was absolutely atrocious. Last week, they're calling touchdowns for the Chiefs against the Colts that aren't, the guy's not even in the end zone, but sure, it's touchdown. He's hanging out with the cheerleaders in the back, but it's touchdown. because it's Kansas City. So whatever. This week against Houston, extra point not even close to we'll give it to them. Whatever. Might as well have an extra point. You need a point? Take the point. No big deal. Game clock runs down. You get a couple extra Mississippis in there once it hits 0. Shouldn't that be a delay game? No. I gave him a second. What do you mean you gave him a second? It's pretty cut and dry. 0 penalty. No. I communicated. Communicated what? That it's a penalty? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. I mean, and there was a couple bad ones. Well, the Colts got a pass interference in our favor. And the ball was nowhere. The people in the first row could have caught it. If it's not a catchable ball, it's not a pass interference. You didn't interfere with anything. The ball wasn't close. So I don't know. We go over this over and over again, at least once a season. I put my conspiracy theory hat on here. But like, we're nailing players every 6 months. There's another big FBI sting. So-and-so was betting 30 grand on the under on his pitches, or, the guy for the Raptors that was betting the unders on his minutes. Joe Blow nobody saying, I'm only going to get 3 shots. I don't know. There's got to be refs that are on the take. Like, there just has to be. I understand that the idea behind, you couldn't have a ref get charged or, because it takes away from the integrity of the game. Well, doesn't shitty refereeing and the product take away? Like, you have at game after game where your people are questioning the outcome in the media and everything, and maybe that's the point. Maybe they get everybody talking about it. Like me sitting here ranting about it. But you can't you can't say integrity of the game and then put that out there. It's like, I'm worried about the integrity of my dinner. Here's a Delicious pizza. What is going on? I mean, I know I'm not the only one. I know there's other teams.
It's interesting because you feel that these games that these happens to, the Chiefs are highlighted a lot, right? Because of who they are, a lot of the side. But the debate has been, does artificial intelligence refereeing, so AI refereeing, make sense? And you know what? If you type something into AI as a report, I want to give some people, I shouldn't say someone, just in case. I think people need a piece of advice that to really review what the AI tells you, because they make spelling errors, and as someone who has been in the field of studying the differences between artificial intelligence and not, I know when something's Chat GPT or Copilot. I know when it's that. Okay. And maybe I can use it myself to make my emails more concise in terms of when it comes to the 91N emails that are sent out for the podcast and getting guests on this show. But jokes aside, I say that because AI isn't going to be perfect either. They're not at that point. So the human element's what I enjoy more. But 0 means the play's done. You gotta snap the ball. The ball. No, you don't have to snap. The ball has to be snapped by the time that 0 hits. It's got to be hut. Ball's out. 0. That's where my head's at. In the end zone, 2 feet got to be in the end zone. Okay, you got to have the toes. You got to have the feet in there. Hines Ward against the Cardinals, Super Bowl. That's a touchdown. That's not in the back row when they're playing with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders talking about what you having for dinner. That is refereeing. There's stuff that things are missed, and then there's items that okay, all right, that's hard. It's not definitive. And I sit here and we're talking with Connor just recently about the IKF, Isaiah Kyer-Falefa with the Blue Jays, sliding at home. He was safe. I'm sorry. He was safe at home. If he would have went hands first, the Blue Jays win the World Series. But what does replay check for you? That Will Smith had his like a little hair touching the plate. Don't know where I saw that hair. Don't know where it was. Even replays are not definitive when they seem definitive. So we just don't understand the background of everything. So my thing is like taking the scenic route to this point is I want to see behind the scenes what the hell the video people are saying. And not because they know Netflix is there or Prime or Disney or Crave or HBO or Paramount Plus or this streaming service or Honolulu or whatever the heck it's called. I want to be able to see in real time behind the scenes what they're thinking and why. So I want to see that piece, but I also want to know what the referees are talking about in their circle, what they're thinking. Okay. Because what I think about is Tim Peel. He's a friend on my Facebook page, so I'm going to watch just in case you never know. I'm not chirping. I want that to know that. Everyone to know that. He was a referee that evened out a call in Nashville, and he got caught saying that on microphones, okay? Things happen. Justin, you're right. There is stuff. Tim just got caught. They're not getting caught. for some
and like my
I won't disagree. I think things are happening. Is my point. But how do you miss some of these calls? Like, how do you miss some of these calls?
My frustration is, like, I get some calls are open to interpretation. You can only call what you see, but there's certain things that are just cut and dry. Like, it's you have to make the calls that are right. Like, I'm not saying that like it's definitive. When like the play clock hits 0, that's a delay of game. When the guy doesn't have 2 feet in the end zone, that's not a touchdown. Those are the ones you should be getting the gimmies. And when you're not getting the gimmies, and then the calls that are being made after that are way worse, like, there has to be something. There has to, okay, well, this referee crew's been demoted to college for the rest of the year because they need more training. Or, like, there has to be, in the ranks of referees, there has to be some sort of shame, or like, is there no competition? If these guys are making the best calls, they're getting the best games. Like, there's got to be, I'm not trying to crap all over the refs, but there's got to be some sort of like system in place where if you're saying you're the best league in the world, you should probably have the best referees in the world.
If you want to trade me to ref, because of the way they're getting paid, I would fully invest my life into doing that. So like, it's a well-paying job. It's a job where you're working one game and you're traveling to different games, but really I think it's a very enjoyable career and occupation where you get very well compensated. But the problem is you deal with a little bit of backlash, stress, and fans yelling at you, disagreeing. But guess what? Every day I deal with this. Everyone deals with that at work. Okay. So you know what? I feel the referees are getting very well compensated to make the right calls, and they have the tools to make the right calls in front of them. Even those tools are not the greatest, but they can at least help, if not 99.9% of the time, make a justifiable call and make up calls. And I think it delays the momentum in a game. But in vital moments of the game, or at any point in the game, anytime there's a turnover, anytime there's a change of possession, anytime there's a certain play, those change outcomes of the games. Every little thing changes an outcome in a game. It doesn't matter what sport you talk about. Get the calls right. And I don't mean to crap on the refs either. I got people that are in refereeing programs, and they're good refs. I know a lot of good refs more than not good referees. But the point of my story is set them up for success, train them right. And I agree with you. If they're not working out, you got to train them. You got to do other things with them. Now I feel like I'm talking about that. I'm at work, but it's so true. It's like that job. It's like every job. There's an expectation, and hopefully they're held accountable for the stuff that they don't do right. And give them the tools, which you have, to do the job right, and use those tools to make the right call. And end of story. Like, when the clock hits 0, the play's done. If you don't have the ball snapped, it's a penalty. Flag in the air. I've had my disagreements this year is with pass interference. A lot of this year, I feel like there's been a lot of that early touching, that early interference, if you will, that are going uncalled. But if you watch another game, they're getting called. It's the inconsistency that really pisses me off. But again, that's a human element. But again, I think there's some obvious sides of it where these don't need to be missed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've harped on the refs long enough. I think it's on a positive note from last week. All 3 American Thanksgiving games were absolute bangers.
Yes, that I'll say. Yeah, it's not a lot of excuses, but not those. Yeah.
The Bengals came out and surprised some. Some people thought that Joey B was going to be good and were confident in that. But the Chiefs, Dallas, hell of a game.
He's back.
Absolute hell of a game. And the Packers and Lions game with that halftime show. Eminem and Jack White. We'll take that. That was pretty good. All 3 were pretty juicy. I mean, Thanksgiving usually has a few snooze fests. But no, that was a good one. Honestly, with your comment earlier about Sunday being a snooze fest, all the good games were on Thursday. And then we had a Friday afternoon game with the Eagles, which was pretty all right. And then the Leafs played at 5 on Friday, which was fantastic.
For good those day. That were up.
Good sports day.
I'm glad that you took vacation that day or took time off. It was well deserved.
I'm responsible. I am a responsible employee.
Now we're hitting week 14. Very pivotal week. We're getting near the end. You got 14 up to week 18. We're getting close. Already 14 weeks within the pocket. And we've went 14 weeks without EJ being here. Yeah, said it. We were expecting him to be,
He'll be back.
But he will be back. I was talking to Dane, and he'll be making his odd appearances to help out in the pocket. He just hasn't been able to yet, but will be coming back to the show. So some returnees of the old man group is on the group is coming in. but we are in week 14 hike. We didn't get to other points of week 13 just because we decided to vent about the referees, but we're going to transition over to week 14. I'm going to give you the floor because we got some standings to update and we got some games to pick.
Yeah, so where is it here? Catching up on the standings as of this week. So I am still in first place. 1 point lead over the David decision. So I've 125 over 124. So we're neck and neck there, and EJ is still in third, 120, and Tyler in fourth place. Having a rough go this year, having a real rough go. But we're not going to discuss the missing week in EJ's schedule. We're just going to talk about how close we all are. That's how that's going.
And you know that EJ is listening to this and smiling every week.
I know. He's going to chuckle every week about this. But
that's fine.
Week 14, getting to the nitty gritty, especially in people's fantasy leagues now. If you're not in a playoff spot, what are you doing? Figure it out. What do we got coming up? Thursday nighter this week. Not bad, actually. Detroit v. Dallas. Sorry, Detroit fans, but I am going to take the Cowboys in this one. Cowboys looking like they're on a bit of a heater, and I think that's going to be a pretty juicy game. Getting into our Sundays, I'm taking Seattle over Atlanta, Buffalo over Cincinnati, Cleveland over Tennessee, Washington over Minnesota, and another oof, Miami over the Jets, Tampa over New Orleans, Colts over Jacksonville, hopefully, Pittsburgh over Baltimore, Denver over Vegas, Chicago over Green Bay, in a pivotal division matchup there with the first place in NFC Chicago Bears. Still weird to say that out loud. Rams over Arizona, Houston over KC in the Sunday nighter, and the Eagles over the Chargers on Monday night. Score 24 Philly, 18 Chargers, and for the Sunday night I got Houston 28, KC 24. Most points this week, the Bills. Fewest points this week, Minnesota, with whoever they're starting at quarterback.
Might be me at this point. So, and I snorted there for absolutely no reason.
That's because that's how funny that was.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And also, I was thinking a little bit from my picks. I actually made my picks earlier today, but I got an error message saying invalid crumb on Yahoo. So Yahoo can go fly a kite. So I had to reselect my picks. So if you're wondering why I'm looking down when Justin was talking, I went to my picks expecting them to load, and they didn't load. So I wanted to make my picks before he got through them all so people don't think that I did it. So I wanted to elaborate on that to make sure. I didn't get the scores in, but I remember what I had and who I thought were the least. So I'm going to enter that. So getting to the picks. I got the Lions over the Cowboys. Come on, Detroit. I'm going off of not instinct here. Seahawks over the Falcons. Bills over the Bengals. Hard pick. I was really tempted to pick the Bengals. Browns over the Titans. Commanders over the Vikings. They might get more than 3 points this week. The Dolphins over the Jets. I got the Bucks over the Saints. Colts over the Jags. I haven't picked them the last few weeks, but I will this week because, little bias. I am going to pick the Steelers this week to bounce back after getting booed off the field. And what the Ravens showed against the Bengals, beat them when they're down. I got the Broncos over the Raiders, Bears over the Packers. Bears are for real. Rams over the Cardinals, Chiefs over the Texans, Eagles over the Chargers, 32-28 Eagles over the Chargers, and for the Chiefs and Texans, I got 34-21. For the team that's going to get the most points, I got the Broncos, surprisingly, this week, and then for the least, I'm going with the Saints. I had Minnesota highlighted there, but you know what? I'll give them, I think the Saints are going to get 3, and I think the Vikings are going to get 6. It's going to be a tight race for those least points in the week this week, but Saints to be last. And we'll see what next week brings as it gets a little closer in the standings as we hit near the end. It's time for a lead change, if you know what I'm saying. I think it's time for the David decision to move Hike's picks down a little bit. And let's hope EJ picks all of his games this week and has a 3 for whatever total this week, because that would be a great makeup week for us to save the embarrassment on him missing a week and being 4 and 5 points respectively behind us. Yeah, embarrassing ourselves.
Yeah, no comment. I mean, we have to be honest.
Hey, look, it makes for good content. Okay, I made a lot of opportunity for content here, and I made a lot of opportunity for our interns to make some great clips. Good luck because it's really sporadic. I'm making them really watch the show this week to really pick and edit how they have fun. Jerry's going to have a great time with editing some clips this week, I feel like. So nonetheless, Hike, this has been In the Pocket, my friend. Any final thoughts before we officially wrap up?
I mean, honestly, let's hope we can go into this week, drop the referee conversation. Hopefully we got nothing to talk about on that end coming into next week. And I think the Thursday night game is probably the game of the week. That's where I'm at with it.
I agree. The Thursday nighter, Detroit, Dallas, where my couch, or I'll be on my couch for that game, and I'm hoping my picks registered, Hike, okay? Because if I miss this week, I ain't going to rebound.
No, and I will
Thursday
hold it
night
over your head for at least a year.
Yeah, so I need to make sure those are registered. So I'm going to be triple checking that tonight at all times to make sure. So nonetheless, Hike, again, thank you very much. It's been another week of In the Pocket. Next week, we will be back, same place, same time. We're nearing our Christmas break, everyone. Just to give everyone a little reminder as it's the conclusion of the show. We will have a show on the 11th. Sorry, the 11th. My goodness, yeah, we post by the Thursday. Let me rephrase. We will have a show next week. That is when we record on the 9th. We will have a recording on the 6th. Then we will have our holidays. We usually take the week of Christmas off and the week of New Year's normally. We take that week off as well. So we do plan to maintain that. Pending any news, obviously, there might be a change in that, but we do plan to have our last recording for the holiday be on the Thursday, the 18th upload for you. And we will be back on January the 6th for our next recording after we take our Christmas holidays. So essentially 2.5 weeks off before you have to hear our voices and see our faces. Again, pending hot topic news, because know what time it is during that time? World Juniors. So there will be some clips, I'm sure, from yours truly, McCarthy, Dane, Parr, maybe Hike, who knows, Trudes. There's going to be some interaction that we'll make sure that we have during the World Juniors, because we do anticipate someone from the Sioux Greyhounds being on that World Junior team, of course. So speaking of which, we will have that World Junior projected roster. As long as it's not announced by next week, we will have our roster predictions for you on that next week. We're taking the gamble that it won't be up yet, but I have a bad feeling it might be. But nonetheless, you got to see our predictions for Canada this week. So thank you for Team Canada at the Olympics. So thank you for Brendan McCarthy coming on by. He didn't make a selection. He made me go myself and criticize me. That's the approach he wanted to do. To each his own. Love it.
I like that.
Thank you to Connor Henderson. Thank you very much as well for Strike Zone. Blue Jays spending the money. Come on, Rogers. Keep going. Keep going. And Hike, my friend, as always, as I already said, thank you for joining as well for The Pocket.
Good to be here as always. And we'll see how this week goes. And yeah, I'm excited to hear how that World Junior roster shakes out.
Oh, that's going to be something. And you know what? Because you didn't get a chance to hear Brendan just say, I'm not picking. He wanted me to pick. You can go ahead and listen to that because he wanted me just to be put on the spot. Very unique strategy by him on the prediction segment. It's really odd having one person pick when two people are supposed to. But nonetheless, again, thank you to SportsCenter as well, partner with the In the Pocket segment. Shout out to 91N. Follow that on YouTube. Spaces. Check that out through Village Media and Sioux Today. And until next week, Dave McCaig, on behalf of Justin, Brendan, Connor, the whole family here on the game, we're here to remind you to keep your stick on the ice, swing your bats, catch your touchdowns, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.